North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. This is TGD Today. And now please welcome Heroy III,
HR3,
Al Cloyd,
Dr. Grind,
George Honeycutt, The Godfather.
Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to The Golf Director. I have my co-host, HR3.
How are you doing, sir?
And The Godfather.
He's over there swinging his new clubs.
He's over there swinging his new sticks, so you can't beat it.
What do you mean when my hands are too close to my wrist?
I think you got a bone in your right leg. That's the problem.
How about those?
Today on Tech Talk, we want to talk about club conditioning. We want to make sure that your clubs are ready for winter. So the main thing is basically you want to do a visual inspection of your clubs this time of the year. What that's going to consist of is, getting every single club out in your bag, looking at the condition of that golf club. You want to put a firm grip on the head of the club and a firm grip on the grip.
Put a firm grip on what?
Put a firm grip on the head and a firm grip on the grip.
Wow.
And give it a.
I got to ask. I got to interrupt. Ask a question right there. Do the hand-me-downs that I just bought off The Godfather, has all this been done to them, or do I have this to look forward
We're
to?
probably going to have to look forward.
Probably have to look to that.
Yep. So, you know how that goes. He just don't come in for regular maintenance. He's just he's a wildcat. So. He don't keep us that long enough to.
I was going to say, they got to be brand new, Jeff. He don't keep them long enough to do any damage to them.
He don't keep us that long enough to hurt them. So
he starts yelling at me about things. I'm like, dude, you get clubs more than I do.
One thing about it, Boo, the sweet spot's not worn down.
That's it.
I can guarantee doggone to you that.
And with me on them, they'll probably never be hit.
Oh,
That's it. You can't
those
beat
grooves look like they haven't been touched in that sweet spot.
it. There you go. Sharper than a Gillette razor.
Oh, man. I can shave with them.
That's it. So, want to make sure that none of the heads are coming off, because what happens is, through the course of the summer, we all keep our clubs in the trunk.
Right.
That excessive heat, gets to the epoxy, and it causes it to break down. So if we're working on a golf club in the shop and we have to disassemble it, what we use is heat to break that epoxy down. It's a 2-part AB Conap epoxy. So
What'd you call me?
Conap.
Yeah.
That's right. So once it reaches a certain temperature, which is usually around that 180 to 220 range, it literally disintegrates. It turns into powder.
Wow.
So
And our trunks, I mean,
Yep.
It gets up to 150 degrees.
So you're right on that border.
Well, after you repetitively heat it, then it cools off, and heat it, and it cools off. But you have the same thing during the wintertime, don't you, bud?
Oh, no doubt. There's no doubt, because epoxy expands and contracts. And there's nothing there's nothing that can be done about that, and it just happens. That's why years and years ago they would actually pin the irons. So the iron would actually, once you would insert the shaft into the hosel, there would be a hole that was drilled on the right side of the hosel, a hole that was drilled on the left side of the hosel. Then you would actually go in and put a hole in the shaft on both sides and drive a pin through the whole deal to secure it, to keep it from coming apart. But what's happened through time, the epoxy's gotten better, despite the fact the pins are a pain in the butt to work on and to screw with.
Yeah.
So they've kind of gone to the wayside.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've had, when TaylorMade came out with the first Metalwoods, I mean, I've got a couple of the old screw bottom spoons that I got from Mr. Billy Key, and he would literally pin every club he had.
Oh, yeah.
Just to guarantee that club's going to stay solid.
Yes, sir.
And so, it's the thing about it is, folks, I mean, you and not just talking about the golf equipment itself, the clubs, but I mean, think about this, your golf balls.
Mm-hmm.
You've got them in your golf bag there in your trunk, then you got them in the garage. And if you don't have, most people don't have heated garages. So they're going to go from hot to cold to hot. I mean, the stuff's just, it's not going to, take your golf balls out. I don't care if you put them in a, an old shag bag, or if you find a grocery bag and put them in the house.
You and Al answer me this. Is it a myth that if I put my balls in a microwave, it'll make them longer?
No, they'll explode. But I will tell you this. I will tell you this right now.
Notice I didn't say golf balls. I'm just.
Yes.
I promise you this right here. This is
Thank you.
this is the absolute truth, and I've done it. Excuse
Bless
me.
you.
Oh, here comes the story.
But when it starts getting cold, we'd go through tour school.
Uh-huh.
You know, I'd always go to Indianapolis for the first stage. Well, one year we got snowed out for 3 days in the middle of it. But you'd take your golf balls and put scalding hot water in the sink and just put your golf balls in there and let them sit. And then you take them out, put them in the little packages, and you go. And they're automatically longer because back in the day with blotto balls and stuff, you know,
Right.
it would heat up that inner liquid core. Well, even with the balls today, you can do the same thing because it's going to soften the cover. Because if a ball gets cold, it's going to get hard.
That's a fact.
So, you know, you get it to where, you know, hey, give it a little bit of leeway. But that's why I'm saying it gets hot, it gets cold, it's going to expand, contract,
Is
whatever.
that legal?
What you do to your balls before you leave the hotel?
Before you leave the hotel?
That's totally up to you, I would assume.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Now, but you're not supposed to keep your balls heated.
You can't keep them with
yeah,
the hand
right,
warmers and
right,
things
right.
like that.
Right.
But
You can't do
before
that.
you go out, who's to say and who knows? Just a little trick.
Now, a little
And then-
trick of the trade. And you've mentioned this on air before, and I've actually done this. Is you got the little hand pocket warmers, the little things you buy at the retail stores.
Oh, yeah.
Keep them in one in each pocket, and then what you do is when you're standing there or whatever, getting ready to hit, but you've got you know, like on the green or on the tee box or whatever, then you put the ball with one of those little hand pocket warmers and warm it up.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's
There's
like you
more
got
one
your
way to
hands
skin
in
a
your
cat.
pockets.
Yeah.
You happen. What are you going to do with the golf ball?
Yeah.
You sit on the ground. I mean, yeah, maybe it's illegal, Jeff. No offense, but I mean, you know, guys, look at Freddie Couples all those years. He used to always scratch his face with his driver. Well, he wasn't scratching anything. He's getting some grease on there so the thing goes straight.
Yeah.
Because you get oil off your face.
Yeah, it's like a pitcher with Vaseline.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, you know, it's just little tricks of the thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, I'm sorry. You know, we don't cheat on purpose, but I mean,
You know-
every now and then you do something to get a little advantage.
Hey, down here in the South, I'm going to tell y'all one thing. If you ain't cheating, you just ain't trying hard enough.
Yeah.
That's NASCAR to a T. Yeah.
God almighty.
You just ain't trying hard enough.
All right,
I'm sorry,
Al,
folks.
Al, remind us bless the heart, our Canadian brothers and sisters, they're coming down here now. Of course, they do every year. We love seeing them. And this week, several of them have come by the shop, and they're out hitting their first balls in the last couple months or whatever. And they come up and they hold the head and the shaft, and they go, "Can you do anything about this?" Or, "George, should I change the grips on these clubs?" And I see their fingers imprints into the grip, and they actually see steel or graphite, you know, because they've worn a hole in them. Give us a little reminder of what we do to help elongate the lives of our grips.
Yep.
Okay.
You know, just cleaning them on a regular basis, you know, helps
What do we
tremendously.
clean with?
I prefer Dawn dishwashing detergent.
Okay.
I find it works really well. You know, Hugh likes the
Soft scrub.
soft scrub
Mm-hmm.
because depending on now what kind of grip you have. Like Hugh and I both use a cord grip, the same exact grip. And soft scrub works great on that grip. But
Mm-hmm.
now if you take soft scrub and you try to clean a wind grip, it's going to rip it apart.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, you have to know what kind of material that you're dealing
Right.
with to know
Right.
how to clean it properly.
Right.
So like the softer the grip, like your wind grips, those are going to just, you know, be cleaned very lightly. You know, a toothbrush, a little bit of Dawn, rinse it. And the key thing, this is one thing a lot of people don't realize when you're cleaning grips, and this is probably one of the most important things, is when you dry that grip, you want to damp dry it or let it air dry. You don't want to take the towel and run it up and down the grip because the fibers from the towel will embed into the grip and it's not going to feel as good.
Wow.
That and you know,
And I've always done that.
Yep.
I've always taken a towel and actually turned it.
Nope.
Not good.
No, sir. No, sir.
now when it comes to cord grips, you can do that.
That's
but,
fine.
That's
you know,
it. There you go.
The cord grips we use the soft scrub because it's got the Clorox in it,
Yep.
which gets all the oil,
That's
the grease, whatever, out the grime out of the cord itself. So it makes it white and it gets it to where it's soft.
Makes it
again.
look good, too. Yeah.
Because when a cord grip gets dirty, I mean, it gets greasy and it's nasty feeling. Now, your rubber grips, you know, your Tour Velvets, you know, the wind
Tour
grips, it's stuff like Al was saying. You do it with regular like dishwashing soap. That's more of a passive type cleanser. It's not as abrasive. And don't sit there and just scrub them and da da. You got with the straight rubber ones. Yeah, you can do that. That's going to get the grease and grime out of it. But make sure you use warm water. Don't just do it in cold water.
Yeah, warm water.
Cold water is not going to do a darn thing as far as helping you get the stuff out. It's because the warm water is going to make the grip expand, which allows the pores and all that of that grip to get the soap in there so you can get it clean and get it out. So use warm or hot water, whatever you can stand.
Wow. I hope y'all are taking notes, please.
Yep. So basically, it's amazing
stuff.
how much the temperature really has to do with a lot of different things. And this is just one little thing I'll throw out there. A lot of grips, like your Tour Velvets, they can actually be sanded. And the cord grips that me and Hugh use, they can actually be sanded down, so you can get more than one season.
Yeah, but be careful with doing that. I mean, John Q amateur out there, he starts taking,
Bring it to me, and I'll do it for you.
Here you go. Yeah.
But I actually use a DA sander. And,
well, one thing now for Christmas, we talked about gifts earlier on the round table, but there's all the new grips now are available. The NC Plus 4s and what they've done is, for all of you see the NCCs and you see the Plus 4s and you see the parallels and you wonder what does all this mean and define. But basically, what they've done. Each grip is built in a wider diameter at the butt end, and then that becomes narrower as it goes down to the other side.
It tapers. That's correct.
So what they now produce is grips that are the same diameter at the butt and also at the end, the other end.
Or a reduced taper.
Taper.
Just a slightly reduced taper. That's correct. And that seems to be the biggest thing right now in grips. About all your manufacturers are doing that.
And what that does is it basically equals out the quote-unquote tension aspects of how you grip the club with both hands.
And it's a personal preference.
It's a personal preference, yeah. Like a lot of guys that would put 2 to 3 extra layers of tape on the right hand of the grip for right-handed players, which would be the bottom of the grip, it's doing the same exact thing, except now you don't have to put 3 layers of tape on just the bottom section of the grip to obtain that feel.
Right.
You can just do it with just a grip.
Right.
So, it kind of takes the, a little bit of the club-making aspect out of it. And allows the average person to be able to accomplish that without knowing that you have to put 3 layers of tape underneath the right hand.
Al, real quick, it being a holiday, and again we're talking about club maintenance and all that. And one thing I consider maintenance and upkeep and things, we see the manufacturers coming out with new drivers every 8 months.
Oh man,
6 months, 3 months, whatever it may be. I often have a lot of people come in and say, George, I bought this new driver. I'm not hitting it well, and I think I need a different shaft. Now, how much you're going to give me for a trade-in so I can buy a new club? When in actuality, all they need is a different shaft.
That's correct.
Okay?
That's correct.
And these are the people that I quite often send to you to say, okay, why do you want to buy a new club, new $500, when you just spent $500 last year?
Yep.
Okay, and maybe you need an A shaft versus an R shaft or whatever it may be. Okay, why not just buy the shaft?
Oh yeah.
Then have a qualified club, person like Al take the ferrule off of whatever manufacturer's club you have.
That would be a club technician.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes.
You're looking at a scale of 30 to like 30 cents on the dollar to just buy a shaft, if not 10 cents on the dollar. And, you've got a new club.
My opinion, is that the shaft is just like an engine in a car. You've got 4-cylinder engines, you've got 6 cylinders, and then you've got blown V8s.
Right.
So you want to get a shaft that suits your particular playing ability. That's the right weight, the right bend point, the right torque rate.
And if you have a favorite shaft too, I've had people come in and say, "Oh, I have to hit this shaft, and I want to look at it with this head, and this is the head I'm playing with, or whatever." Not every shaft is perfect for every head.
That's correct,
because they're different weights and they're different launch patterns
yes.
and things like that.
We've really noticed this a lot, especially in fairway woods. A lot of the fairway woods that are coming out now, or in the past 2.5, 3 years, had these ultralight shafts in them. 55 grams,
Right.
45 grams. The problem is if you try to put a player shaft, in there, a 75-gram shaft, something that's stout, you can't make the club full length, or the swing weight just becomes unobtainable. It's way too heavy, because that head was engineered for say
A lighter shaft.
A lighter shaft, and when you put that heavier shaft in there, it's not going to be the same.
The manufacturers are sitting here targeting a specific swing weight.
Oh yeah,
That's what they're doing, right?
definitely. That's why they've made that head a specific weight to target a specific swing weight with a specific weight
Well,
shaft.
they designed the head. I know this for a fact. As a MCF, they designed the head, and then they find the optimal shafts that go along with that to obtain this swing weight.
And it's
That's
based
what
off
they're looking to
and
do.
it's based off the target market they're trying to push and promote that particular shaft and head too.
Yeah, fall into the
So
niche. Yeah.
you've got your women, you've got your seniors, whatever, and as you've seen,
And your
George,
juniors.
exactly. But as you guys have seen in your business and what you do in your fitting and in the club and all that stuff, repair, is a lot of these manufacturers have gone from. It's almost like the old days with Dave Pells with the light irons and all that kind of stuff. They've gone lighter with stuff to try to help the older folks, but it's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody. That's
And
the problem.
That's the thing, that they've created so many different niches in the market that Pard, you got to have, you guys, when you get in there with shafts, you got to be going, which one now?
Oh yeah,
because there's just so many different.
it is. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
There's
But
a
to
lot.
And
put
frankly-
a 55, 60-gram shaft, even a 60-gram shaft, but a 45, 55, whatever in a fairway wood,
Yeah.
to me, and granted, I'm not the expert, y'all are, but to me as a player and an instructor, it makes no sense because it doesn't give you any feel with a club that you're trying to utilize to manipulate and get in the air and whatever
But
else.
look at my new fairway wood. I've got a 50-gram shaft in it, and you've hit it.
Yeah.
And you said this is a little rocket ship.
Oh, it is.
But
It doesn't have that feel in the head as far as the kick because of the difference in the shaft. I agree. The club hits great. Mm-hmm. From my own and hitting it and
From your
watching what it
preference.
does. If I had to play with it, not a chance.
Right.
Because I've got to have something where I can feel what's going on.
Right.
So,
And for me, at a slower swing speed with arthritic collarbones and whatever.
a bone in
or
his right
ailments and
leg.
Carter got liver pills.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I know.
Exactly.
I know.
Exactly.
But
So-
I agree, and that's the thing. They come out with so many different, and that's why, folks, when you look at this stuff, don't just walk into a store and say, "Okay, this right here is supposed to be for me," or a guy says, "Yeah, this is for the senior player," and go see somebody who knows what in the Sam Hill they're talking
Right.
about.
Right.
Get fitted. I don't care if it costs you $50; it's worth every flipping penny of it.
Yep.
And get it done, and get it done right. Get the equipment you
Right.
want, and get something that will last you. Mm-hmm. Not just something that you're going to buy this year and then you want something again next year. Mm-hmm. I mean, look.
And frankly, folks, if you haven't been playing for ailments or injuries or health issues, if you weather-wise, whatever, don't expect to get out of the car at a fitting center. I don't care where you are, where you go. Don't expect to just get out of the car, walk inside, and say, I want to get fitted. And, oh, by the way, I haven't hit a club in 3 months. I have this tendency, when I stopped playing 3 months ago, I was peeling everything to the right. I normally carry my 7-iron 155 yards, when I can tell you 99% of the people I look at can't carry it more than 130.
That's exactly. If that's a fact. Yeah.
Just
Check
have-
your ego at the door.
have real expectations about, if you want to do a fitting, that's great. Fitters like myself love interacting with golfers.
Oh,
in our love of the game.
Yeah.
That's
That's
why
why we're there. Yep.
That's why we're there.
Yep.
Okay? But have some realistic expectations. I can't tell you, I can't count them on these two hands. How many people I've said after just a few minutes, I mean, Hugh's seen this, after a few minutes of watching them hit, I look at them and go, folk, you don't need a club fitting.
Yep.
You need a
Need
lesson.
Yep.
You need to go get that swing grooved in, and then once you get back into a grooved swing, club head speed, control of the club head, then come back and see me, and then we'll get a set of clubs for
Well,
you.
see, that's the problem nowadays because and I joined this thing on Facebook just because a friend of mine sent it to me, but it's old school tools with new modern golf theories or golf technology.
Right.
You know, people nowadays expect to be able to go get fitted or get a golf club, adjust it, and all of a sudden everything's fixed.
Oh, they now have a hook where they've hit a fade slice for their entire life.
Yeah, and it lasts for,
Yeah.
4 or 5 days, maybe a week, and then all of a sudden it's back to – there is no quick fix in golf, folks. So when you do things, take care of your equipment,
Yep.
get fitted properly,
Yep.
get your lessons from whoever you go to, your pro, and practice a little bit. I
Find
mean,
some clinics.
it doesn't
I
take,
mean,
it doesn't take long, and golf is too much fun not to.
you go to
Yep.
Possum Trot here on the Grand Strand in Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach. You go to Possum Trot, Hugh's doing clinics, and for whatever it costs for an hour and a half clinic, I don't know, Hugh. Knowing you, it's probably $1,000.
No, it's
I have no clue.
$15 right now for a woman's clinic on a Tuesday, and we're going to do men's clinics
$15?
on Friday, a piece for an hour.
How do you get out of bed on $15?
Well, I'm trying to get people in there to try to help.
Good for you, buddy.
Yep.
Good for you. So, I mean, that's a no-brainer. You go out and just attending these, if you're just getting back into the game, if you came down here for the warm weather winters, if you're looking to tune up for spring and summer for
yeah.
your season, getting this guy's attention for an hour, it's worth $200. But if you can come out and do it for 25, 20, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a no-brainer.
That's
and
exactly
while
right.
you're there, work out a package because then he can individually target you and get you focused, and then you tell your spouse, get me this for Christmas. This is what I want. I want to play better golf. I want to enjoy the game more. I want new clubs, but that's down the road. No.
And the funny part about it, you talk about this, had a lady came into the clinic on Tuesday. You know, she hadn't played in years. You know, she played, then
Yeah.
she had kids. She hadn't played in a while. She and her husband moved down here. They live at Crow Creek. Okay?
Yeah.
So we started
Well, they
talking about
picked a nice spot.
and we started talking about Jimmy and everybody up there. Gave her a clinic, but just the only person there for the clinic, it was just her. And I said, do me a favor, just hit some, da-da-da-da-da. I said, we're going to have a good time. You know me, I cut up and we carry on. And by the time she left, her lady hugged me and she goes, sign me. I'm signing up for next week. I'm coming back and we're going to do
Yep.
more. And I watched her stay there that day on Tuesday and walk in. And basically, I gave her a bucket of balls to go practice a little bit.
Right.
Then she came back in and bought 2 more.
Yep.
Good for her.
Yep.
You know, and was there 3
for her.
hours.
Yeah, it's a
And she-
win-win.
But
Yep.
she enjoyed it. It got to where it was fun. She'd get it in the air. She was hitting it good.
Good
you know,
for
she's
her.
like, you know what? This is not so bad.
Yep.
So now she and her husband have something they can do together. They're retired. I mean,
Good for her.
Go
And-
enjoy yourself.
Yeah, and have realistic expectations. You know what I mean in golf.
No,
you know, I
just
mean, it's
Enjoy
it's,
the damn game.
yeah,
It's a
enjoy it.
4-letter word for a reason, so don't make it have you
Yeah.
say all the other ones. And understand golf's a game of imperfection.
Yep.
You're not going to hit it perfect every time, but if
No.
your bad shots are the least bad, you're going to play pretty good.
God, the stories that we can tell.
Yep.
Yep.
And how many people have quit the game because they get frustrated they can't hit their clubs? Or
Oh,
they,
I don't know how many
or they-
stories. Yeah.
Oh,
you
they-
know,
they hit
when
it-
in actuality, if they took a little time and effort
Calm down a little bit.
from complaining about the game
Yep.
to actually improving their own aspects of the game,
Yep.
then they would still be playing.
Oh, yeah.
And they would still be enjoying it
Yep.
instead of sitting at home now in front of the TV turning into couch potatoes.
Well, that's kind of like we had one listener, a gentleman called me, and he was from England. I think I may have talked about this one
Yeah, you
time
did.
before, but
It's the only listener we ever had.
yeah, it's the only listener we ever had.
Nah, we've
I'm
had-
so
we've
proud of
had
this
one
because a
other.
guy called from England, so it was pretty cool. But anyway, you know, he quit playing for a while, got him some user-friendly clubs. Now he's back playing with his buddies
That's right.
again.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
I mean, it really does. It makes a difference. It's fun. Life's short, you know, and there's no guarantees on tomorrow. You know, let's just make the most out of every day.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, and golf's getting cheaper. It's
Oh, yeah.
it's getting less time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
The manufacturers are spending billions of dollars in research and development and technology development and looking to improve distances, whether through balls, clubs, physio, whatever it may be.
Yep.
And then you got professionals out there that have been around this game for, 30, 40, 50 years.
Their whole life, they grew up in it.
This is what
Yeah,
they do every
that's
day.
what they do.
folks. Use them. Take advantage of them. Pick their brain as you would a financial advisor in the stock market, or you would your doctor who's practicing that particular ailment that you have. This is the same thing.
Yep.
It's like a master club fitter, like Al. Go to them, pick their brain, see what kind of knowledge they can give you, and then use what they give you. Don't just think, well, that's not me. I'm better than that. I can actually hit this. Okay? Well, if you got that mentality, then maybe you should go back to the couch and just grab you a bag of Doritos in a six-pack. Moving on. TGD, thanks, Al.
Oh, I got just one real quick one.
Go.
I wanted to tell them, everybody right now, Possum Trot and the Glens group has got a special. So it's the Glens 2-for-1 golf special. You pay $54 to play the first round at either of the courses, and then you receive a pass to play any of the other 3 courses free of charge, which works out to $27 a round.
Really?
So just kindly wanted to pass that on to everybody out there and promote the Glens group because they're awful good to me.
Good. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You go by Possum Trot and get both Al and HR signature. You get their autograph. Have them sign your balls. How about that? Hugh would love to. TGD Radio and TV are produced and broadcast by the Zeus Radio Network for thegolfdirector.com. That just came out. I'm sorry, dude.
Let's take him out back.
When visiting the Golf Director, be sure to check out our featured course pages where you'll find up-to-date information about course conditions, specials, and much more. Need help with your next golfing vacation?
Just call Dave.
Right here at the Golf Director. You can give us a call at 844-GO-GOLF-1, 844-464-6531. All of our programming is archived for listening and viewing on demand. To catch up on any show you may have missed, you can click on the TGD Radio or the TGD TV tabs in the menu screen at thegolfdirector.com. We're now available on over 1
billion
devices at iTunes, Audio Realm, TuneIn, YouTube, Ustream, Roku, Periscope, Catch.me, Blueberry, and, of course, the Myrtle Beach Golf app. George Honeycutt, Hugh Roy III, and Al Cloyd, Dr. Grind himself, here at Tech Talk with Al Cloyd. We want to thank you for tuning in and joining us here. Merry Christmas from the TGD boys and from Jeff behind the glass. And don't go anywhere. There's a lot more golf news and information coming up next.